good morning. Yesterday, we talked about a quadratic equation in standard form, and we talked about how to factor the quadratic equation. Today, we're going to add to what we've learned. We're going to solve a quadratic equation by factoring. What do I mean by that? Let's say I have this, and in the past few days we've talked about a quadratic equation can have at most two solutions, and that means it may have two different solutions, one repeated solution, or no real solution. To solve this by using the method of factoring, step one, we need to write it. We must write the equation in standard form. So first order of business, we must write the equation in standard form. And what does that mean? We need to get a 0 on one side and all the terms on the other side. Now let's think about it. What will make sense in this case? To have the 5x and the constant term on the left-hand side, or the x squared on the right-hand side? Actually, it doesn't make any difference. I'm going to take the linear terms to the other side. The opposite of subtraction is addition. I'm going to add x squared plus 5x. And the opposite of adding 6 will be subtracting 6. We now have the quadratic equation in standard form. The next thing that we're going to do is make use of what we've learned in chapter 4, factoring. How do we factor this trinomial of second degree? To factor. To factor this trinomial of leading coefficient 1, we're going to look for two numbers. When multiplied, that will give me negative 6 times 1, which is a negative 6, and that will add up to a positive 5. And what are they? Six times a negative 1 will multiply to a negative 6, and negative 6 plus a negative 1 will add up to 5. That means this trinomial will factor into x plus 6 times x minus 1 equals 0. Where did I get the 6 and the negative 1? From right here. The two numbers, when multiplied, that gave me a negative 6. And when added, that gave me a positive 5. So step 1 was standard form. Step 2, we factored it. Step 3. Step 3 is, once we've factored it, we need to apply the zero product rule. And what does it say? It says if we have two factors, when we multiply two factors and end up with a product of 0, the zero products rule says maybe x plus 6 was 0, or maybe x minus 1 was 0. I have managed to rewrite the quadratic as a product of two linear terms. Now I can easily solve the linear terms. I'll now factor each linear term that I have. And now, what can I do? We have managed given a quadratic equation. We were asked to solve it by factoring. Step 1, wrote it in standard form. Step 2, factor. Step 3, apply the zero product rule. And now we've solved it. The last thing we should always do, we must check. And when I'm checking, I'm always going to the original equation. The question I'd like to answer is x equals 6 a solution? The original problem says x squared equals -5 times x plus 6. Wherever there is x, I'm going to substitute, oops, forgot the negative sign on -6. I'm going to replace my x by -6, and simplify the left-hand side and the right-hand side using the order of operation. On this one, I only have a single term, and the only operation that I see is exponent. -6 squared will give me a +36. On the other side, I see a multiplication and addition. Order of operation dictates that I do the multiplication first. And now I'm going to add. Is the number on the left equal to the number on the right? Since I have the left hand side equals to the right hand side, I'm going to say yes, x equals -6 is a solution. And this is how we solve a quadratic equation by factoring.